Welcome to the Trailchasers podcast.
This episode is presented by Nexen Tire. Matt is trying to get his wheel situation handled so he can get the 33-inch MTX mounted on the Frontier. And once that happens, I don't think any of us are going to be able to keep up with him. You should go to NexenTireUSA.com and get a set of Roadian MTXs for your rig so you could be as cool as Matt. And we're brought to you by Icon Vehicle Dynamics. Matt also got to take the truck out this weekend for a quick test run with the new Icon suspension. He talks about how well the truck performs when you're able to keep all the wheels on the ground and keep your momentum going up the hills. Check out iconvehicledynamics.com to see how they can increase the performance of your rig.
Today on the show, we just ramble the whole time. Honestly, I'm not sure what we talked about. I mean, I'm sure we made fun of Cody. Duh. And we did talk about the first run of the Frontier, which was cool. But I can't really say much about this episode, so enjoy.
Yeah, like Matt said, I hope you're ready for the shit show because it's going to be a ramble fest.
How's that different from any other week?
It's not.
Good evening, everybody on YouTube. We are live on YouTube as we are on Monday nights when we record. We've got a handful of people in the chat room as usual. Matt, Jose are recording remote again this week due to some scheduling issues. We are all in our respective houses trying to get this done. I was out of town this weekend, and it was kind of a crap show at work all day today, and we just couldn't pull it together. So hopefully we're back in the studio again next week, but I feel like we did pretty good with the remote recording in the past, and since our interview we had scheduled tonight had to drop out last minute, I think we'll be okay. How are you guys doing tonight?
Good.
I'm great.
You're great. You're fantastic. So let's start with the meet and greet this weekend. So Mountain Hatch has a new facility down in Menifee that and they did a open house / meet and greet on Saturday the 27th of June in the year 2020 of COVID. And so we got the chance to go down there, and all of the players were there. Lightner, Icon, DeMello, Trigger Controller.
Yeah, who wasn't there?
Yeah, it was the who's who, and the interesting thing was,
who was there?
The who was there. Who are you?
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me. Everybody was there.
So Matt and I. So the plan was that Matt came and picked me up in the morning and went down because Tammy and I had plans to be in San Diego for the weekend. So she was going to come down later. And I made the mistake of telling her, just come down whenever, it starts at 8, it's supposed to go to 11. If you want to get there 9:30, 10-ish, just whatever, come down. We'll talk about that in a minute. So Matt meets me here. We load up. We meet Jose down there. We get all set up. When we rolled in at 7:30.
Can you also reference how I was there on time?
You were totally on time. I'm very, very pleased.
Last time we were meeting up for something, putting suspension on my truck. Ooh, went on for like 40 minutes about how I was late.
Because you were 40 minutes late.
Sure. Right, I know, but I want to make sure that we reference. Can we spend an equal amount of time about how I was on time? Like maybe we can talk about for half hour how I was on time.
If you're on time, it doesn't get mentioned because you were on time.
What did you change this weekend compared to last weekend, Matt?
Somebody didn't come over to my house and drink a bunch of beers with me.
The night before, there was no.
I think you guys having like strategic meetings or whatever
between Casey and Matt. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. Casey and Matt are strategeries. They're not the strategerizers.
I don't know if I'd use strategery to describe it. But you know, there was some conversation. I don't think we fought about any baseball players or
how Mike Trout is the best, but you guys are arguing why he's the best.
No, not with Casey. Casey's like you know, he's very yeah, whatever, man. you can't pick a fight with a guy that's like, whatever, dude.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
doesn't care.
He doesn't care. So Matt was on time. We loaded the Frontier up, went down to Menifee. And when we rolled in at 7:30, thinking, okay, it's supposed to start at 8, we rolled in and Matt and I went, holy crap, what time did this start? Are we late? Because there was already 100 trucks. There was already easy 100 trucks at 7:30. And they had told us that people were showing up at 6:30 that morning, lining up to get good spots on in the parking lot. So go ahead.
Was it the don't like, man, what did everybody, they didn't have anything better. Like, I don't like getting up early on Saturdays typically, but you know, a lot of people were very excited, obviously, about coming to that event. Well, it was packed.
Yeah. I think it was the combination of, it's the first, one of the first things that's been announced and pulled off in the last several months, and there was nothing else going on that weekend. And so everybody was just looking for an opportunity to get out. We got there at 7:30, got the orange room set up, got the mics and speakers set up, and by start time, quote, 8:00, man, it was going off. There were so many people there. They had goodie bags for everybody that showed up. The first 50 vehicles got a Falcon backpack with a bunch of swag in it. They were doing raffles. Those raffles were no joke. They gave away some really good stuff, but I think the
one guy kept winning all of it.
Well, he bought all the tickets.
Yeah. So
whatever he kept. How many times did he win? 4, 5?
Yeah. So the
6.
How many cutting boards did he win?
Yeah. So they raffled off. They raffled off a bunch of the Mountain Hatch cutting boards. They raffled off Max Tracks. They raffled off a shift pod. The shift pod, by the way, was on Vilmont Market by the end of the day.
Dang,
yeah,
really?
By the end of the day, I saw it on Vilmont for sale.
How much were they asking for it?
$500.
All right.
What was the other? The Max Trax Shift Pod, some stuff from Dead Man Off Road, a bunch of stickers and swag and stuff. But I mean, it was a lot of cool stuff. And one guy spent like $80 on tickets, and so he had so many.
Good.
Yeah, he had a good chance of winning. And we like mixed it up a bunch to try to make sure that he didn't win or didn't get two. I didn't want to pull the same stack every time. So, but we did the raffle and got a chance to hang out. And there was Jeremy was interested in seeing my truck because of the what I installed a couple days prior. And I kept telling him, hey, Tammy's going to be here any minute now. Don't sweat it. People ask for stickers. Yeah, you know what? I left the stickers in the truck. Tammy's going to be here any minute now, for sure. Any minute now. What else? There was something else going on with the truck. And I'm like, yeah, Tammy will be here any minute now. Tammy rolled up at
45 minutes later.
Yeah. Tammy rolled up as we were breaking down the tent. Like she got there right at the end. And in her defense, I told her she could show up whenever. Exactly. I didn't realize that I left the stickers in there, and
it ended earlier than anticipated because the raffle was over like at 10:15 or something. And then it was supposed to go on until 11, but everyone like left right after that.
Scattered,
raffle.
Yeah. And it was surprisingly hot. It was hot in Menifee. And I think once the raffle happened, everybody started to scatter. Tammy had said when she was coming in from the freeway, it was just a line of vehicles, just a line of trucks trying to get out. But we got the chance to tour the Mountain Hatch office there. Super cool place. They had it set up really, really well. I'm really impressed with it. And they did a great job. They did a great job of facilitating that many people. Their complex has enough parking spots to have. The post I saw was a final count of 309 rigs.
That's a lot.
That's We've done a couple of these where there's 50 rigs, right? I mean, we've done these where these meets aren't that big. 309 all the way down in Menifee is big, and I'd heard that they had quite a few people from
Elsinore.
It's like Elsinore.
Is it? Why do I keep saying Menifee? It's anyways down there off the 215.
Because you're directionally challenged, you don't know about maps. Like when you look at a map, it just you see like colors and shapes and things.
Yeah, is there a
cities or roads?
Can you be
anywhere he's looking is north?
Yeah, can you be dyslexic just for maps, like maps lexic?
Yeah, you.
No, you know what's funny is when I'm looking at a map, like if I'm physically looking at the map and I'm doing routing or whatever, Look at all those shapes. It makes sense. Like it all makes sense to me. I just can't translate it from the computer screen out into the real world. That's my problem. I have mapslexia.
That's a real issue. They have a pill for that.
I think they're working on a pill for that.
I'm gonna start
and COVID same time. You don't know which one's gonna come first.
I'm gonna do one of those Sarah McLachlan commercials. Do you suffer from mapslexia? For just $2 a day, you can help those that are lost.
I have a like conspiracy theory about the pharmaceutical commercials, and Monty she hates it, but every time there's like a slew of like depression medication, where they show like they're cartoons though, and I'm all see that there's something to that. Those MFers know something, and they don't want you to think about real people being depressed. They want you to just think about cartoons being depressed. Or there's something there.
And some of those depression medications, they're like, side effects may include suicidal thoughts. And I'm like, you already have the suicidal thoughts. That's why you need the medication. How is this helping?
That's if the medication they're trying to give you doesn't work, and then they just want you to die off because you're no good to them.
I don't do those. There's all kinds of comedic skits about those things, about how like the side effects are explosive diarrhea, and you're like, dude, I'll take the itchy skin over explosive diarrhea any day.
Right. I'll take my psoriasis, thank you.
Uncontrollable bowel movements. Nope, I'm good with the twitch in my eye. Whatever, I don't need any pill for that.
Fine. That's fine. A little acne, I'm okay.
You know what? I'm good, doctor. Thank you, sir.
Yes.
Or ma'am.
Yes.
Or ma'am. Whatever.
And what's crazy too is that those like pharmaceutical companies, they can do their advertisements only here in this country and in New Zealand. Like there's only 2 countries in the world that allow that.
Because everybody else has realized what a sham it is.
Well, they get tax breaks. So this is something I heard on the news or read somewhere. They get a certain amount of money they don't have to pay taxes on for commercials and advertising, which seems completely corrupt. Why would I'm supposed to watch a commercial about some drug and then go up to my doctor and go, hey, I saw this commercial for this drug.
Yeah. What do you think about it?
Just because, exactly. Just because they run off of the list of side effects that they're making you aware of.
Well, yeah.
As you're because you're not a real person, you're a cartoon.
And they're like,
and then you're supposed to go ask your doctor, hey man, you know what? You're self-diagnosing. You're already prepping the doctor. Like, yeah, dude, I have the shits a lot. And I was thinking about and then they throw catchy songs.
Yes.
Like, they take like, I don't know, some old 70s jam, and now they've ruined it because, now it's Proplexia or whatever it is. And you're like, dude, I hate these guys. I hate what they've done. I used to like that song. And now you go into the doctor singing the Proplexia song. And you're like, hey, dude, can you hook me up with this stuff? That's wrong.
No,
there's something wrong with that.
The worst is like, do you wake up tired in the morning? And you're like, yes. Are you frustrated from day-to-day life? Yes. Do you wish you could lose some weight? Yeah, I'm a 46-year-old fat.
I tell Monty all the time, daytime TV is the most depressing thing because it's all about low T.
Yeah.
Are you exactly?
Yes. Well, that's
Are you tired all the time?
Yes.
Are you fatigued?
Yes.
I am fatigued. You probably have low T. Shit. And then next thing you know, it's like, I think my vaginal mesh is torn. I don't know. Hold on. There's like 3-4 different.
You gotta keep a notepad. You gotta keep a notepad to write down all of the symptoms of the things that you have. So when you go into your doctor, you're like, look, I just watched TV for a day and a half, and I'm pretty sure I'm gonna die. I need all 4 of these. I need all 4 of these medications stat, or I'm gonna die.
Like, what do you think daytime TV was during the lockdown? Like, what do you think they were pushing during when it was like the first month?
Do you have anxiety? Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. You know what? That's what Bud Light and Coors Light should be selling. Is
daytime TV.
Hey, you know what? Are you pretty stressed out about COVID?
You had a crappy day at work.
Sick? You know what? I say screw it. Just go buy a 12-pack and throw them down. What else do you have to do tomorrow?
Don't worry about your worries today.
Yeah.
Don't push your worries today to tomorrow.
Exactly.
Bud Light.
So speaking of medication and dying, this is an interesting segue because we didn't plan it. Segue alert. I saw a dead guy in San Diego this weekend.
Oh, nice. Like just sitting on the side of the road?
So after the reason Tammy came down and picked me up at the Mountain Hatch thing is because we were going down to San Diego. We were spending the night down there. And so we went down there. We were staying at a hotel, which I don't know that I'm fully ready to be out in the world yet. I kind of like there was a lot of people and, I was wearing a mask and it's just, you're still a lot of people and you're like still not sure if I should be out in the middle of the world, but we did it. And we walked to get dinner. And as we were walking to dinner, in downtown San Diego on the corner of a street right in front of a 7-Eleven was this old minivan. And in the minivan was this old dude. And like, when I say old, like you just looked at him and you knew he was old. And he was sitting there smoking a cigarette and he could barely lift the cigarette up to his mouth to smoke. And I thought to myself, wow, that guy doesn't have a lot left in the tank. Like he looked emaciated and like just weak and old. And I'm like, that guy,
that's how most people look in San Diego. I think emaciated and malnutritious.
Well, Cody was down there.
Yeah, I was down there. And I swear I was like, man, that guy doesn't got a lot. I don't know how much that guy's got left. And then, so we went to dinner, really cool place. And as we come walking back towards the hotel from dinner, we get to that intersection and there's all these cops around the minivan. And I knew immediately, oh man. And so we've got, it's Tammy and I
Did they shoot him? And that's
oh, edit that. No, edit that. Oh, there's a whole string of conversation there. But we're going to avoid it. So I saw the cops around the van. I knew immediately what had happened and I could see the dude like slouched over, almost hanging out the window. And it's Tammy and I've got Presley. And then we had another couple of friends with us with their 2 kids. And I tell the husband, and I'm like, come on, let's go. And he's like, what's up? I'm like, just trust me. Come on. Let's get across the street so we can get past this. And as we get to the door of the 7-Eleven, once we cross the street, Tammy and her friend are like, oh, you know what? We need to get some drinks before we go back we need some Gatorade and some water. And they go in the 7-Eleven. I'm like, come on, let's go. And they just lollygag oblivious into the 7-Eleven with the dead dude outside. And the kids are starting to...
It's not in the 7-Eleven.
No, I know. But the kids start running around the front door of the 7-Eleven. We're trying to wrangle them. And the cop's looking at me. He's like, can you? And I'm like, I'm trying to get them. So we get down the way and sit there and I tell Ian what's going on and he goes and looks at it. Sure enough, the girls come out. I explain to them what's happening and they're like, no, the hotel's this way. I know the hotel's that way. We're going to go around the block. Please just follow me. So we go all the way around and I tell the girls what happened.
Why don't you just say, there's an effing dead guy in that van. Let's go around.
Because I didn't want to, the kids are all standing there. I didn't want to yell out, there's a dead guy. I waited till the kids weren't around to say,
that's how you get kids to do shit. I do that all the time. Hey kids, watch out, there's dead guys around the corner. Get over here. And then they do what they do.
There's a lot of dead guys here.
The Chupacabra. Chupacabra's right over there. If you don't, yeah. So So we get around, we get back to the hotel. The girls decided they wanted to stay in the bar and have a couple drinks. So I took Presley up to my room and Ian took the other kids up to their room. And Ian sending me updates out the window of his hotel room. He could see what was going on. He was taking pictures and sending me updates. And he said that the tow truck just came, hooked up that van and took it away. Like, what?
What's the guy in it?
No. They took the guy out. They took the dead guy out. But that's the weirdest, like, I think about how weird that is. Like, I witnessed one of the last breaths that guy took. Like, when I saw him,
like, what do you think his last thoughts were?
He was probably.
What was like his demeanor? What was his demeanor when he was just sitting there?
He was just
smoking that cigarette.
Yeah, he was just sitting there. Like I could say, he could barely smoke, barely get the cigarette to his mouth. And I was thinking to myself, I hope someone's helping that guy out. Like he's at 7-Eleven. Maybe someone's in there buying him something. And it did not. It was horrible. It did. That was a weird experience. Is seeing that. I don't know if anybody's.
The least you could have done is offered that guy some Gatorade. He's probably really low on crystals, and all he needed to do was hydrate.
He needed a drink. That was it, and you didn't even give it to him.
No, I didn't. I didn't.
Bad karma. And now you know why.
Oh, man.
You're wondering why your Achilles are always blowing out. It's because the universe coming back around on you.
You should call Tim right now. He's throwing bombs.
I know. Tim just said his last thoughts were that guy's Ranger is ugly. He didn't see my Ranger, Tim. I was walking. He may have said that guy walks funny.
He probably followed you for a while just so he could tell you that, but he couldn't muster up with his dying breath. He couldn't tell you. Nice.
So
what kind of van was it?
It was like a crappy red Dodge,
like a rapey van.
No, it was like a Dodge Caravan, like one of the older minivan Dodge Caravan things.
I've seen some rapey caravans, dude.
Really? Tell me about that. Tell me about your experience in the rapey caravan.
Your rape van.
Yeah, I live in Fontana, dude. Like, if you just go down south here about a mile or two, all over the place.
But those are all Ford E350s. That's all the Econoline vans. They don't do
or like
Astro vans,
body Suburbans.
Yeah. They don't. There's not enough room. There's not enough room in the Dodge Caravan. I don't think.
That's true. There's a ton of Astro vans down there too. You know what's the most well-built vehicle ever is the Chevy Astro van, because they stopped making those.
And they're still going.
No.
They stopped making those in 95. They're all still in South Carolina. They're all right down here. Every one of them. If they made 1 million of them, they're all down here.
Hey, some of those are 4-wheel drive.
Yes. Those in the Ford Aerostar. My mom had a 1986 Ford Aerostar. I freaking loved that thing. So my buddy's mom also had an Aerostar, but his was a stick. It was a Ford Aerostar stick. And so he kind of inherited it when he turned 16, and we took all the seats out of it. So there was just the 2 bucket seats in the front, and we would roll up to places, open the side door, and 25 people would pile into that thing, and we would drive everywhere in that thing. You'd throw surfboards in there, bikes in there, whatever. But that Astro van, after the experience in Dave's Astro van, I tried to get my mom to give me the Astro van because it was so awesome, but she was not having it. I don't see nearly as many Ford Aerostars as there are Astro vans.
Dude, my uncle had one of those Aerostars that was stick shift. It was a white one. And they had this tick, bro, like a lifter tick. But it had it for like 10 years.
that was part of the timing. Like,
that's how you knew it was working. Is this thing on? Tickety, 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 tickety.
Dude, they would drive that thing from here to Texas, bro. Like, that was their family car.
Man.
Tick and all.
That's pretty great.
You've seen those Ford adventure vans, right? I mean, like the ones that are all decked out with the 33-inch tires and the racks and the whole. It's like the Econolines, but with yeah. I would love to have one of those as a little mini adventure, RV, like a Mojave Trail, like that. We've had the conversation about the big Mercedes Sprinter vans. Not that's
too high center, dude. Like
it's again
gravity so high
again, but yes, those big Mercedes, those adventure vans. But if you had one of those Econo lines, that would be fun on Mojave.
Yeah. So that again, the YouTube channel Primal Outdoors, he just converted a E350 to a 4x4, and that's like his main rig now. He's doing van life.
Yeah, I think that would be cool. That would be fun. A lot of fun. You can live in it, and you can have a whole conversion in there, and then have plenty of room on top to put your gear,
your stuff,
your stuff. Speaking of which, this wasn't on topic, and I'm going to put you on the spot. There was a conversation in the Orange Room this weekend with Jose and one of our friends about a vehicle that may be changing hands without letting the cat out of the bag. Is that vehicle going to change hands, Jose?
Dude, I talked to the CFO. It's not in the budget right now. But I'm going to type up another proposal, try to close this deal
because that's a killer deal.
It's a hell of a deal.
Yeah, that's why I don't want to out anybody. I don't want to talk about whose vehicle it was. But let's just say they
outed themselves already in the chat.
Oh, did they? Did he?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't see that. I missed it. So
the chat room is hot tonight. It's already scrolled past.
It is. Yeah. You guys are on fire. I'm trying to ignore you guys because Tim's in there. And I can't, my blood pressure can't handle any more Kilmer. That's all I'm saying.
No, but if I could acquire that vehicle, I mean, that vehicle is built. It's built, dude.
It is dialed in 100% turnkey, ready to go, except the color. We would have to get it wrapped, dude.
Nah, dude, I'll stand out. I'm like, no, I won't. How much is a wrap job?
If you have to ask, you can't afford it. Well, how about you get it wrapped orange? Look, it's either got to be black, white, or orange. It doesn't fit.
In the right light, it looks orange.
I don't think so. Duty Driven is in the chat tonight, and he came out all the way from San Gabriel down to the Mountain Hatch.
Dude, he has a giant ass truck. It's so big.
Well, so the funny thing is Mark, Duty Driven, has been in the chat over the last couple years, weeks about telling Matt that he can take him.
Calling out Matt.
Yeah, calling out Matt, he can take him.
Yeah, check it out, dude. So my brother has an F-250, and we did the /X run on Hodge Road. It ain't happening, Holmes. I don't want to say you have no chance, but you have no chance. There's no way. Sorry.
Well, okay, you say that now, but at the end of the day, when Mark was leaving, Matt's sitting in the tent facing one direction, and Duty Driven comes driving by behind us, and we're like, "Oh, hey, see you later, man. Talk to you later." Matt says, "Do I need to be worried?" And I was like, I think so. Like? I think he can take you.
You look pretty awesome.
I think he can take you.
It's a lifted ass. It's a lifted F-250, and then it has a rooftop tent. Dude, he needs like a rocket ship to get up to that rooftop tent. I don't know how he even gets up there.
It wasn't that high. It wasn't.
It was like 10 feet high.
It was just an F-250 with a lift on it. I don't think it's that tall.
A ladder for the ladder.
His girlfriend was only like 4'11", so it couldn't have been that tall. She was pretty short.
He's saying it's stock, dude. That thing is lifted. It's tall out of the factory.
Yeah, it's. But I would like to see Duty Driven take Matt on Renegade Highway and see how it does. Yeah, he says he's 6'4". He doesn't fit into a midsize. Yeah, you know what, Mark? Though you're 6'4", but you weigh like 98 pounds. Try being 5 foot. Try being 5'8", 5'9", and weighing 210 pounds. And then talk to me. I'm too fat to climb up into a full size truck. I'm too short and fat to get into a full size. That's how come that's cool? How come you be like, I'm too tall to get into that truck? How come it's not as cool when you say I'm too fat to climb into that truck? I want some credit for being short and fat.
So I want a truck I can roll into and out of. That's what I want.
Just fall in. Yeah. So I think over time, my truck, I'll go from the Ranger to like Corvette, because it's like I have to step down into it. I don't have to try to climb up into the Ranger.
Yeah, but the problem is if you get the Corvette,
I can't get out.
Getting in's not the issue; it's getting out.
Mm-hmm. So the next thing, Tim says I'd lose another Achilles climbing in out of that truck. I don't have any more to give, man. It's all over.
Yeah.
So I have I've put together some video clips, and I'm gonna start releasing them soon. I am very, very excited about the fact that I went last week and picked up my white knuckle sliders for my Ranger. Insert applause here. Yeah. So the folks at White Knuckles, we did the whole. What do you remember? What episode that was, Jose? We did a whole thing on yours. You bought those white knuckle sliders for your Land Cruiser, and we put those on. I don't know, 20 episodes or so ago, and you can find it. You can just search it on our feed, and it's there
on our blog. I wrote a blog about it too.
That's right. There's a blog post about it as well. Super impressed with them when we did the ones on Jose's, and it took both of us to get them done because of the length of those sliders and the way the skids were under. What was that? The exhaust, the catalytic converter.
The catalytic converter.
Yeah, so there's a skid that covers
like a 3/4 inch like plate that protects those things.
It is no joke.
They're overbuilt.
No joke. So then I was talking to the guys over there, to John over there at White Knuckle, and I ended up getting a set for the Ranger. And I picked them up on Wednesday, and I really wanted to get them installed before the meet on Saturday. This was before I knew that Tammy wasn't going to be there till 11 o'clock. I thought I was going to take the truck down and have it to display. So on Thursday afternoon, I was like, you know what? I'm going to see if I can get these installed by myself. And I actually did it. I was able to get both sides installed by myself. Really easy because of the way these things are built, because they're so stout and the way that their tabs are. And we'll do a full review, and I want to have John on the show so we can talk about them. But essentially on the front and rear tabs, there's bolts that go through the frame, and then and then the two center bolts and the other front and rear bolt sandwich the frame. So this thing, it's rock solid once it's installed. But it took me less than 2 hours to get both of the sliders installed by myself while filming and trying to do a bunch of different things and catch angles and what have you. And I literally I set a jack down in the middle and was able to jack them up into place and then get them installed. And I'm super happy with the way that.
Did you put them in right side?
They are. They're
like
pretty much. You can't put them in wrong. I'm sure you could if I tried hard enough.
I don't know. I mean, we're talking about you doing it by yourself.
Well, so I did it. Sure
they're still on there. They didn't fall off on the way home from San Diego this weekend, or maybe one of them's dangling there.
No. I jumped up and down on them, so you know that they can hold. Time. Yeah, no, seriously, totally.
Yeah, secretly, Casey did.
I saw that
exactly. Where was Casey this week?
Casey wasn't here. I secretly did it because I was hiding from work. But we're gonna have John on the show. We're gonna do a full review of them. I've got video of it. The Jose, you know, like what we talked about, the way these things are mounted and the bolt hardware that they use and the thickness of the plates, it's just unbelievably stout. And I am looking forward to Gold Mountain. Now that the sliders are on, I want to do Gold Mountain. We just got to figure out how to get Matt outfitted with some sliders soon so he can, because I think even with 33s, like I wouldn't do Gold Mountain in the Ranger with 33s without expecting some kind of rocker damage.
Well, dude, I was looking at some of the old videos you have on the YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Like you went through like John Bull or something in your WJ?
No, that was Dishpan Springs.
Okay, well, dude, that was pretty legit.
It was it was gnarly. Yeah. That there's a couple spots there on Dishpan Springs where, but the thing with the WJ, it was a $4,000 rig that was lifted, built for nothing but off-roading. It sat in the driveway unless I drove my company vehicle all week long. I didn't care. Like Matt bashed the rocker panel on Cleghorn in that thing. I didn't care. That's what it was built for. You know what I mean? So taking that thing on Dishpan Springs and going over some of those boulder sections was like, whatever. If I scratch it up, I don't even care. It's very different when the Ranger's your daily and, it's brand new and that kind of thing.
I didn't know that was like a $4,000 vehicle. It looked really nice. Like, I thought it was your everyday vehicle. I'm like, dude, this guy, like, you were wheeling it hard. Like, it didn't have sliders, did it?
No, not at the time.
No,
not at the time.
I didn't see any. I was like, dude, they're hitting some pretty intense rock crawling.
Yeah.
Like, that's legit rock crawling.
Yeah.
You were on 33s, right, at the time?
Yeah. The WJ was a $4,100 vehicle. I put an Iron Rock off-road lift kit on it. I cut out the fenders, wheel wells, front and back, and put notch customs on there.
I saw those videos too. I saw all the old, dude. Your install on the Cherokee has like 100,000 views.
I know, and it's not even it's like my buddy's Cherokee. I haven't talked to that guy in 3 years. I still get questions. What size tires? What size? I don't know, dude. How does he like it? I haven't talked to him in 2 years. I don't know. but yeah, so the WJ. I mean, for an entry level, I don't even say entry level, for someone that's got $4 or $5 grand to buy a vehicle and is willing to put another $4 or $5 grand in suspension and upgrades and stuff for $10K, if you can find one that's mechanically solid, that thing is a great wheeler. I didn't change out the transmission. It was still the all-wheel drive with low range. I loved wheeling that thing. It was so fun. The downside
dude.
It's super capable. It had a
flexed a lot.
That Iron Rock kit will flex. It had a bad starter, and it left Tammy and I stranded one time with Presley as a baby, and Tammy was done with it after that. And I was like,
you carry a pipe around so you can hit it.
No. Well, the funny thing is it had trouble starting, and I thought, okay, it's got to be the starter. I ended up testing the starter. I took the starter out. I took it to AutoZone. They tested it and went, no, there's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing wrong. And I'm like, doesn't make any sense. So I put it back in, and then it left us stranded the one time. And I was like, okay, I've changed everything. Like there's nothing left. I put a new starter in it because I was going to sell it. After that, Tammy was done with it. She didn't trust it. And so when we're going out doing things, it was, if she didn't trust the vehicle, it wasn't going to be, she wasn't going to like it. So I bought a new starter for it, regardless of what AutoZone said, put the starter in it, thing cranked every single time after that. So I think had I found the starter issue earlier on, I probably would have had that WJ way longer than I did. Maybe
like a month or two longer.
Month or two, maybe a little bit longer. But that's when I sold it and bought the Tacoma right after Presley was born. But I really loved that WJ. I think I've told the story.
So it's cyclical for you. So you go from unreliable to reliable, and then again to unreliable. You're unreliable right now. So what your next truck is? Maybe something super. What's more reliable than a Toyota?
Nissan.
Not according to segue alert. Not according to the article we just got sent to us by Rob Flores. So he said. So from the drive. It says what used trucks to avoid, and on the list is the hold on. On the list is the Nissan Frontier, and I haven't really read why.
You never hear anything about that truck. All you ever hear, dude, my coworker has one, a black one just like that in the article. And I asked him how many miles. He's like, I have no idea. I just drive this thing. He doesn't check the oil in it, dude. Like it has like 4 different tires on it. I'm going, dude. It's there every day.
And so Matt and I had this conversation on the way down to the Mountain Hatch thing. Is everybody gives Matt a hard time about the Nissan being a Gardner mobile? There are more Tacoma Gardner trucks in my neighborhood than there are Frontier Gardner trucks. There's a Gardner in the neighborhood that's got a brand new Gen 3 blue Tacoma that is mowing a bunch of the lawns in the neighborhood. So the next time you don't see a 2019 Ford Ranger Gardner truck is all I'm saying. So the next time someone gives Matt a hard time about the Nissan being a Gardner truck, I'm gonna send some pictures of the Tacomas.
Gardeners need to get to their jobs, and they need to get and get work done. They don't want a Ford. They want something that's dependable.
Mm-hmm.
They don't. That's right. They don't. That's why they're not going to use a Ford. You're never going to see a Ford doing that.
Site.
Okay. That's what you say. So this article says that the 2005 to 2008 Nissan Frontier is a used vehicle to stay away from. It says, quote, the Frontier's...
What's so different about those years? Those 3 years?
This is what it says.
The radiator design.
Yeah, it says, quote, the Frontier's biggest issue, one that Nissan seems incapable of fixing, is that the truck's radiator design is prone to failure and cracking. And when it cracks... The way the engine bay is designed, the radiator fluid tends to find its way into the transmission housing, which corrupts the transmission fluid and seizes the entire unit, which means you'll not only need a new radiator that you'll likely crack again, but also a new transmission. And it says
that was an issue in the third gen 4Runners too. You get a strawberry milkshake. They call it.
But it says that the newer Frontiers seem to have fixed this issue. So it just looks like it was a design flaw in those years, 2005 to 2008. So stay away from those, I guess. But I mean, we can vouch for Matt's truck of 2018. I mean, and there's really no design change from say 2010 to 2020. That your truck's bulletproof and it shouldn't be an issue. It says stay away from the Chevy Colorado, which makes sense to me. It's a Chevy, stay away from it regardless.
You're over here trying to convince me to buy one, dude.
That's why I said it, dude. That's why I said it.
Yeah, but it's not the year that.
No, that's the 2004 to 2012. This says the 04 to 06 Titan to stay away from. Honda Ridgeline, okay.
It's not a truck.
Yeah, does that even count? You know, might as well say the Honda Accord.
2000 to 2003 Tundra, and 2000 to 2003 Dodge Ram. That surprises me because I had a 2003 Dodge Ram 1500, and that thing was bulletproof. I loved that thing. I don't know what their issues were.
Well, you only had it for probably 3 months. I mean,
dude, I know
for a couple of months.
I had that until
it didn't break down during that tiny window you owned it.
You mean the 3 weeks you had it?
Okay, F you guys. So I bought it in 2003, and I had it until 2011 when I got rear-ended on the freeway and it got tacoed.
And you got into an accident?
Yes. I had that truck from 03 to 2011. So that was the longest running vehicle. And then in 2011, I bought another Dodge Ram, and I had that from 2011 to 2015. And we sold the Dodge Ram and the Volkswagen CC that Tammy had and consolidated to a sport utility because we had the baby coming. But from that time, from 2003 or so, even 2001 to...
You were a guy, huh?
Well, yeah, I love the Dodge, but I was also a 3-vehicle guy. I had my personal truck, the Dodge Ram. I had my Jeep that was just sitting in the garage, and then I had a company vehicle. So it got to be stupid when the baby was coming.
That's life in Eastvale, dude. You know, you gotta...
No, dude.
Keep up with the Joneses.
The Jeep was paid off. The company truck, obviously, I wasn't paying for. I just had the one car payment. But when Presley came, we decided to consolidate. So I was driving my work truck every single day. Tammy was driving the SUV, and then I was driving the Jeep on the weekends. And so I've been since Presley came along, I've been a one vehicle, like dual purpose daily and off road guy. But going back to Jose's comment about wheeling the WJ, that was just a toy. It was not my daily. It didn't have to run for me to get to work every day. That's why I wheeled it the way I did.
Yeah, it looks like there was a zero given on that video.
You son of a motherless goat. What's the timestamp on this? 46 minutes. You do that on purpose. You guys suck.
Why is it you guys?
Well,
I don't think you've got to ever go back and pull anything from me.
Well, I'm thinking that it's probably someone in the chat egging you on.
Egging on this one. This was all me.
No. So talking about vehicles, more information on vehicles. Did you guys see the clips of the new F-150 interior?
So I saw it, but it's just the thing. So when people talk about interiors, I really don't care about interiors, like
because you drive a 20-year-old vehicle. You don't
exactly.
You have a giant step up for me. Yeah, you have a Bluetooth JBL speaker as your stereo. So yeah, everything's a step up.
The biggest takeaway was that folding shifter.
Yeah.
The only thing that I thought about was like, how much is that thing going to cost when it breaks?
So Matt's looking. So what it is the F-150 the shifter folds down into a cubby flat, and then the center console opens up and creates a full workbench, like a workstation in the truck. So you can set up a laptop, a notepad, plans, whatever, and you can fully like have a workable space in the truck while you're parked at a job site or in a parking lot waiting for someone or whatever. I think that's awesome because here's the thing.
Or while you're waiting for the tow truck, you can get some work.
Here's the thing. The
good one, Matt.
The F-150 though. Think about the F-150. 80% of the F-150 sales.
I'd rather not.
80% of the F-150 sales are in the fleet market. Trucks, municipalities, construction companies, municipalities, fleet vehicles where people are working. I can tell you that I've spent a lot of time working with my laptop on the center console of the F-150 plugged into the outlet waiting for a meeting or traveling to Vegas and back and, that kind of stuff. This is a really cool innovation for that use case. It may not be for everybody, but for the fleet vehicle and the construction companies and the project managers out there that have to sit in their trucks and do work, this is a cool innovation.
Yeah, but I think the only problem with that innovation is it's like on a certain trim level and up. So I don't think it's even on the work truck, dude.
Oh, it's project manager level, probably. Yeah. But why can't we just, do we have to? This is gonna sound horrible. Do we have to constantly keep being more and more efficient? They're trying to get me to load my laptop now while as I'm driving. I have to put some stuff together and type up RFIs and shit.
You've never done that?
What? Like in the truck? Matt, how come you didn't get that thing out today? Well, yeah, I was stuck in traffic. Wow, but that's why we got
exactly
shifter so you can continue.
Exactly.
You lazy prick.
Look, you drive with you drive with one hand, type with the other.
That's where I gotta go. Damn it.
The problem with these trucks today is like they're all so good. Like each year they have to keep coming up with something that's going to sell it, right? Like it's all like super incremental at this point. Like they need a gimmick every year, right? I mean, what else can they do to these trucks, man?
Well,
they're already luxury vehicles on the higher end trim. They have all the power in the world that you would ever need. I mean, what else do you want out of a truck?
Give me a minute. I'm trying to think. Yeah, self-driving, number one.
I think they're
soon. That's not far away. But I don't know if I would agree that it's gimmicky, Jose. I think it has a use case, and I say that because I would have been in that F-150 I had for work. I would have been the perfect use case for that. So hopefully it does come as an option in some of the lower trims, and it's not just the Lariat or whatever. But I think to your point, Jose, they're at such a level that they have to come up with innovative changes to keep them top of mind and relevant. It can't just be the next type of leather or the next type of touchscreen or the next type of. It's got to be some other things. And
standard now, great, better interior now.
And Tim's got a great suggestion. He's looking for a coffee maker inside the cab of the truck, which I think may. Perry G has another suggestion that may or may not. I don't know that Perry's suggestion would probably cause a lot more accidents than things that are good. And we're not going to go down that route. So this is why you have to. This is for the chat room. Yeah, this is why you have to join the chat room, because
all of you podcast listeners, that's why you got to listen live, watch live on YouTube, so you can get all the good. This is like campfire talk, but in secret.
Yeah,
but in word.
And because of FCC regulations, we're not going to say what they're talking about in the chat.
Regulated by the FCC. I think it's just morals, or like
what?
Let's just not talk about that stuff.
It's the comic book, the comics code of ethics, or whatever that was in the 60s. But anyways, I think that the F-150 is continuing to step up their game. I think the truck looks really, really nice. The 2021 model is going to be really nice, and they're consistently a best seller in the market. I don't know that that's going to change. I don't know that anybody's got a product that's
because the fleet sales.
Agreed. I totally agree. I think that the
but you see a lot of just F-150s in everyday.
Well, so that goes both ways, right? So the fleet vehicles, Matt and I have been in construction for a lot of years, and we spend a lot of time in those fleet vehicles, and you maybe you love it, and so you go buy one for your personal vehicle. I had some bad fleet experiences on my Fords, which was why I was not going to buy a Ford for a long time. The last 2 Ford trucks I had were really nice, and I enjoyed driving them, which led to the Ranger.
No, I've never, every Ford, and I've driven, like I said, a number for probably 12 years straight. I drove Fords at work, and I was not impressed at all, but I also did not have any major issues with them. They were just,
it was just a work truck, right? It was just a work truck.
Yeah. That was it. But whatever, the F-150 is what it is. It's like saying, they're like the Volkswagen of trucks. There was a time when the Volkswagen was the most purchased car, or more Volkswagens on the road than anything, than the Model T or whatever. It's kind of the same thing, F-150. So whatever. That still seems like a gimmick to me. The folding down shifter, that screams, repair. Like, they're going to live up to the Ford name with that thing, but that's what they got to do. They're trying, like, if you're trying to innovate, that's kind of hokey, I think, unless it never breaks. If it never breaks and it's never a problem, then good for them. But looking at that, that's going to be a problem.
No, I don't.
That's going to be one of those things. Remember when they did that? And you're going to go, yeah, that was a dumb idea.
Well, okay.
Just because you don't want to pull over really quick and just throw it on your lap and do some stuff, or
no, I don't think it's gimmicky. I think that they listened to their demographic. I think they listened to their customers. Their customers are people that are doing work out of their trucks, and they came up with a solution. And I'll throw Jeep under the bus. The 2014 Grand Cherokee has the worst shifter in the world. Huge recall. It actually killed someone. Matt, the guy that played Scotty from Star Trek, the new Star Trek.
Yeah.
So
pinned him against his mailbox.
Yeah, right, yeah. Dude. So the way that shifter is, and
it wasn't Scotty. It was Chekhov.
There you go. So it doesn't, like, how if you shift from park to neutral to drive to reverse, like the shifter changes locations. This is the bump. So you have to bump it down once to get it into drive, bump it down once to get it into reverse, whatever. So it's really finicky. And, if you drive it enough, I've gotten used to it. Tammy's truck Jeep is that way. But this guy parked on a little bit of a slope, thought he had it in park, got out of the truck, got out of the Jeep to go press the buttons on the gate.
Mail. He went to check his mail or something like that.
I thought he was trying to press the code on a gate or something, and the Jeep rolled and smashed him between the gate because it wasn't in park. I mean, that's a horrible design, and they have since fixed it, but I don't think this is that. All this is a hinge at the bottom of the thing. It's all electronic anyways. At this point...
Yeah, but it's motorized. That's the problem.
Oh, it's a motorized drop?
Yeah, that's the issue. It folds down on its own.
Oh, that part, I thought it would just be like a button with a hinge that you push down.
No, it folds down on its own. It has a motor in there.
Yeah,
that's the issue.
Yeah, okay. The motor does concern me, but on some, if it was just like a lever
stuck down, What if it's stuck in the down position and you can't? Can you shift it? Like you're just stuck there. Oh man! Like imagine calling the tow truck out because your shifter folded up and he can't pull it out. It's like I can't start my truck because the windows won't go up or down. Oh man, good for you, Ford. That's going to be great in 5 years when I'm clowning on that shit.
No, I bet it's there's an M button on the bottom of that. I wonder if that's the I
think that's the manual button.
Yeah, that's the manual. You can press the button to change gears and not use the shifter instead. I bet they came.
And a guy named Manuel comes out and helps you fix it.
Whatever. I think it's cool because I'm a Ford guy now.
Of course you do.
Hey, it's not on the list of trucks not to buy. I'll tell you that.
It just came out. Give it time. Give it time.
Hey, are you looking to upgrade your PC, whether it be for gaming or for video production or whatever your needs are? Go to evga.com and check out their products. They make top-of-the-line graphics cards, power supplies, gaming keyboards, audio cards, cooling systems, accessories, cases, motherboards, you name it, they've got what you need to build a PC. They've stepped up and helped us build a really solid machine for the streaming that we've been doing on YouTube. And if it wasn't for these guys, we'd still be fumbling around trying to figure it out. Please support them. Go to evga.com. At checkout, use the code Trailchasers, and you can get up to 10% off anything you purchase. So go to evga.com, use the checkout code Trailchasers to get a discount. Thanks, EVGA.
You're listening to a 4x4 Radio Network podcast.
The Trailchasers podcast is a member of the 4x4 Radio Network. If you want more off-road shenanigans in your ear holes, go to 4x4radionetwork.com to hear episodes of the Jeep Talk Show, the 4x4 podcast, the Center Steer podcast, and On the Trail with Kevin and Scott. All right, Matt, you Sunday, you said you took the Frontier out now that it's got the Icon suspension on it. Tell me about what you did Sunday.
Nothing. Well, I called my brother or texted him the night before, so Saturday night, and it was like, well, it's going to be boring tomorrow. I want to do something. Hey, I got this new suspension. I've been chomping at the bit. Let's just try and hit some dirt for a minute and play around with the knobs in the back, see if I can get it set up. And so it took a little while because my brother was on call. So he had to do a service call. And I don't think we got on the trail till about 2:00.
That's pretty late.
Yeah, it was. But, during that time, so we met at his house like at 10:30. That's when he got his call. He lives up in the high desert.
Yeah.
So he's like, well, it's just down the hill. I'll let you know. And I go, well, I'm probably either going to screw around up here or I might still go to Slash X and, whatever. And so I had the kids with me. We just went ahead, screw it. I'm going to do Slash X. I'm going to do that run. And he called within 20 minutes. Yeah, I'm already back. I'll be back at the house in like 45 minutes or something. So right there at Hodge Road, there's that exit. There's all kinds of hill climbs. I did like all those hill climbs.
Well, the three of us stopped at Hodge Road that one time. Like,
is that where the gas station wasn't working?
No. Razor.
Yeah, oh, okay. Hodge Road was that. It was like the week after quarantine started, and the three of us just went out. Remember, and we had the kids.
I don't think Jose went.
Yeah, he did. I've got pictures of it.
I wasn't there.
No, he wasn't there.
He was. I have pictures of it. He was there. So, anyways, Hodge Road is a cool place. Understand? Go.
Yeah. Yeah. So, waited for my brother. Again, he showed up, about 2:00, and we hit the trail. And it's kind of so I'm not used to leading or anything like that. But the stressful thing is, again, my brother's in a full size F-250 diesel. Like it's a big heavy truck. And do you remember that there's some kind of mine or something like the first mile on the trail off of the highway? It's like a lot of gray gravel looking dirt or like mounds of dirt or whatever that they're pulling out of the ground, and it's all fenced in.
Oh yeah. It's just off the main, like at the actual road or whatever. Mm-hmm. And so there's a little trail that goes up
up along the fence line and comes back down along the fence line. So I just thought he was just going to stay on the like the road, like the fire road. But he started following me up there, and I went, "Oh my God, dude!" And he didn't have a radio, so there was no, "Hey, dude, I'm just going to go hit this really quick. Just go ahead and just stay down on the road." He tried to. Well, he did follow me, but as you're coming down the fence line, there's like it's not off camber, but the trail's not flat. It slants quite a bit and then kind of runs down this ridge line. And so he hadn't aired down. He wasn't even in 4-wheel drive because he had to manually get out and lock his front wheel.
The front and hubs, right?
Yeah. So he had to basically just steer into it and go down like the side of the hill, basically, and just go over some big rocks and through some bushes. But again, because he's driving a giant tank, like he felt it starting to slide off the trail, so he just went with it and went down. So I kind of felt bad after that, and then we stopped maybe 15-20 minutes after that and did some. He brought his guns, so we did some shooting.
What'd you shoot?
Which was he has a 308 and a Glock.
So no, what'd you shoot reference from last week?
Well, that was because Jose was near the border of.
Well, that was the callback to the race. Yeah, you guys suck. All right, so you shot pew pew guns. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So I shot some stuff. It was fun. It was pretty cool. And then I told my brother, I'm all, "Hey, dude, if you don't want to do that, I didn't intend on you following me up that stuff. You're like in a big ass tank. You don't have to do." And he's like, "Oh, it's cool, whatever, do whatever you want." Okay, well, I'm going to do that. And so, if you can follow, if you don't see me, after like 10 minutes, like come back and get me or whatever, that means I had a problem. So that was really we had one other spot that was, kind of a tight, steep little climb. And he just went up it slow, he couldn't mash up it, but I will say, doing some of the climbs, I'm able to hit those climbs with more speed, and the wheels stay on the, it wasn't like I'm bouncing around. I can just go faster up it. It's just like the same amount of control as crawling up as I did before, but at half the speed.
Yeah.
So I literally could double my speed. It exactly translates to the hill at King of Hammers that took me like that third shot, and Cody did it one, whatever, and he was able to put the power to the ground. So I noticed that right away within the first couple of hill climbs, and they were rocky. So instead of like the wheels just like bouncing, they just stayed.
It's soaked up all the hits.
Yeah,
exactly. It felt like it was on rails. It was just it's really impressive.
And when you're not skipping, when your tires aren't bouncing, you're never losing that traction that you then have to try to make up for that when it reconnects. I mean, keeping the wheels on the surface at all times with the suspension, it feels like tank tracks. You're just like you're never losing momentum.
Exactly, and that goes downhill too.
Yeah.
So when you're coasting downhill and you hit the brakes, they're more effective.
Well,
so
whenever we're going downhill,
really
I always downshift. Even in the Ford, which is a little bit harder to do in the Ford than it was the Toyota. The Toyota was a 4-speed with an overdrive. You just drop the gear shifter into first gear and drive down. The Ford has the electronic with the 10 speeds, so you have to you have to like use your thumb on the little knob and go bum 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 and drop it all the way down to first gear to get it to really slow down. But it does it really well once it gets down there. So I tried to use as little brake as possible when I'm going downhill and just use the transmission and engine brake.
Sure. Me too. Anytime there's a steep hill, I put it in 4 low and then low gear, first gear, and I just let it crawl down the hill.
So my theory or what I was doing was I'd actually drop it in neutral and just let it coast like a dirt bike. If you're on a dirt bike and you can see that the transition below is like kind of smooth and just let it go. It's when when you start like tapping the brakes and you're shifting the distribution of weight, like and so now the front end dives or certain things, if you just let it like coast through things, you just kind of like hop and just like you're on a dirt bike in neutral. I kind of got that. I could do the same thing in my truck, which is rad. And not only because of the suspension, but the extra 2-inch lift, huge difference. I'm not so concerned about like approach angle. There's a lot of things that, I just easily went over. And then we got through like the mountain climbs or the hill climbs, and then got to that fire road that just led straight to /X. And that's when I hit like 50 miles an hour, just hauling ass. And my brother's kid rode his bike. He had a 125. He couldn't keep up with me. He was I left him in the dust, and I lost my cooler a couple of times.
Dude, what is your? Can we please get you a net for your like? How is it you can't keep anything in the back of your truck anymore?
Why are you so upset about it?
No, because you yard sailed on Mojave. You lost your cooler. Matter of fact, hold on. Let me ask a question.
I picked up after myself.
I know.
I left a bunch of debris.
Let me ask you. Hold on.
We got to figure out a way to strap some stuff down.
Did you lose your cooler, or was it my cooler?
You took your coolers.
No,
back,
you still have the other one. You still have the 1980s teal and yellow one.
That's mine now. It's mine. You had to take it back. You referenced it when you were helping me with the tile, and you didn't take it. It's still here. No, I took my good cooler, the one that's indestructible. Thank goodness. And I'll tell you what, it's pretty tough. It's pretty after this weekend. It's pretty tough. So you know what? I did get to initially. I was set on 1 as far as my settings. That's not the right setting, dude.
Now when you want to go fast, you kind of want like a 3.
I'm on 4, but you could tell a difference because that. When you were hitting things, so if you were, hauling ass down that road and then you hit a transition road or something that was perpendicular, and so there's like a hump or, something, if you were in 1,
it would spring up, right?
Yeah, exactly. You could almost feel like the back kind of bottom out on the springs. Like it would hit the back would hit the spring and the spring would kick it up. With the I set it at 4, like I'm like, no, let me do this at 4.
Well, you don't have any bump stops, so
yeah. Well, and
did it again, and it stayed level. So the front end would still hit, and the back end would. So literally, like you're jumping, or at least the weight is shifting and staying at the same. So all 4 wheels come back down at the same time, and then it's just immediately flat again. You're in control immediately. It's great.
Yeah,
lots of fun.
I had talked about leaving mine at 1. I feel like in the sand, the 1 works because there's some forgiveness in the sand and the tires and the shocks all at the same time. But I would agree with you dialing in at 1 on hard pack like that out there by /X, it'd be too soft. You'd be slamming the whole time. So yeah. I haven't gone hard out at /X, so I don't know what the proper setting is for.
And you never have.
But yeah, I would say that on the harder pack stuff, you'd want to crank that CDC valve down. I mean up to try to increase the resistance on compression. Yeah, for sure. So. I mean, you wheeled the Frontier for a long time in stock form. What would you say is the upgrade? I mean, we talked about how adding Icon suspension increases the performance, but like, are you in your mind right now? And I know you've only got 1 good run on the Icon stuff, and you still don't have your 33-inch tires. Like, is it significantly noticeable? Is it just like nice to have? How would you rate it?
Oh no, this is the same. I got that same feeling. So my understanding of suspension and lifts and whatever prior to going on the Icon where we went down to San Diego.
Yeah, ride and drive. Remember that, Jose? Remember that when we went down and we got to oh wait, Jose didn't go.
I didn't go. No.
So prior to that event, I just figured, all these people with suspensions, they're just lifting their trucks for bigger wheels, which I'm sure is, at that time, there's an advantage to that. And maybe there is some significant performance enhancements, like with coilovers or whatever. But when we did that event, it was, I was astonished that, wow, I'm driving like just a regular truck with a, with this with a lift or, whatever, with some coilovers, and they're actually tuned to do something. They're not just for show. They actually do work. I wish I could take my truck on that course now.
Oh, I thought about that. You made a really good impression with Jeremy when you insulted him. Maybe if you reached out and you're like, "Hey, Jeremy, remember how I told you I said you were old and you couldn't."
Yeah, which time? This past Saturday or?
No, I'm talking about Jeremy. I'm talking about Jeremy McGrath. When you when you told Jeremy McGrath that he was too old to ride anymore, like, I heard you were too old to ride. Can we come and hang out at your ranch again?
That video clip of Matt interviewing Jeremy McGrath was like watching the Chris Farley show.
That was the best. That was you were so giddy and like excited, and then the first thing you said was, "Hey, dude, you're too old to ride anymore. That's why you're driving trucks." And he was like, "Whoa, wait a minute."
He's like, "So Jeremy, remember that one time you won that race?"
That was great.
That was cool.
You should totally reach out to Jeremy and ask him if we can go do a trail chaser day.
Do another one-on-one again.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure.
That's funny.
He'd probably have him and his buddies around the track with rocks, just throwing rocks at me while I turned laps. Probably. But that would be incentive for him to let us down there. So
that's true.
That. So anyhow, as far as the at that time, realizing, oh my God, I can actually get my truck, hopefully to do something like this. I have to have it. Like especially the Gladiator was like the funnest truck for me. I said it then, I'll say it now. I think now I have something comparable. It feels the same. Like I get that. Nothing's like a dirt bike.
Yeah.
But this is as far as something on four wheels, other than like a side by side or a Razor or something. I think this is as close as you can get. So I look forward to who knows. It's almost like I'm a little not afraid, but dude, I'm gonna be able to go a lot faster. That's kind of scary. Like, well, I don't want to break stuff on my truck.
But here's the thing, Matt. Like I noticed on Mojave in the Ranger, I could go a lot faster, but it's not the same as going faster when you don't have control and suspension. So the reason I could go a lot faster is because the suspension was able to absorb all of the bumps. There was never a point where the steering wheel like jammed itself out of my hand. You know what I mean? So you're going faster, but you're not, I don't think you're putting the same level of stress on the vehicle because the suspension is taking all that up. In the Tacoma, if I, with the suspension I had on it, had I tried to bomb Renegade Highway like we did this last time, dude, panels would have been flying off because the suspension was so bad that if the suspension is bottoming out and doesn't have the ability to absorb the bumps, something else in the truck has to. And that's when you start to impact other parts of the truck.
You're right, because that's something that didn't happen. I bottomed out a lot of times without the suspension. It just stock clearly, and I'm still getting over that, like hitting something, going, and instead of like a oh my God, I just smashed the front pan underneath the radiator, the truck just like springs, the front end of the truck just springs up, and then it's just the back. How the back hits, to balance out. Basically, there was no bottoming out at any point, even during those oh shit moments, So yeah, I also want to say I think it's still going to take getting used to, like having being able to take advantage of the way the truck handles now, and the ride. So I aired down. I hit while we were waiting for my brother. There's a trail. So if you get off right there at Hodge, there's like a mountain to the right-hand side when you pull off. Again, if you're going east, there's a cool trail. It's a tight little trail that goes around the base of that mountain, back around towards the freeway, and then you're between the freeway and the mountain, and you head back. Just a lot of fun, cool, like short little climbs, off camber things, where it's tricky. I mean, if you're in 2-wheel drive, you're likely to kind of slip in some spots. So, as far as being able to put something in 4-wheel drive, seeing the difference between 2-wheel drive and 4-wheel drive in the instance, it's not that you need the 4-wheel drive, but what a big advantage it is for traction.
Well, that's something I remember when I was younger, when I was first driving, like we used to keep the Jeeps in 2-wheel drive and see how far we could get before having to put it in 4-wheel drive. Like that was a thing.
I think that's everybody's mindset.
But
like, I don't do
that anymore. The minute I hit dirt, no. The minute I hit dirt, I'm in at least 4 high, because like there's that one moment where you're like, oh, I can make it up this, and you don't, and you end up sideways on a little 5-foot tall incline, right? So I don't need to prove I can go far in 2-wheel drive anymore. The minute we hit dirt, I'm in 4 high, and then I may shift into 4 low, and that's just, and that's personal preference. That's my deal. I just, for the longest time, like my fear is that, you think you can make something in 2-wheel drive and you end up off camber and now you can't get out.
Like for me, like I'm always in 4 high. I have no option.
Yeah, that's right.
But like having that and then having that Spartan locker in the rear, where I don't have to like flip a switch or anything, it kind of just goes over everything. Like I never have to worry about, I got to turn my locker on here or whatever. It just goes.
And that's interesting that because yours is super, super simple. The Ranger is like so high. I got 15 different modes and all kinds of buttons.
Yeah, you got traction control
and terrain management. And like when we had this conversation with Jeremy when he bought the truck, like I told him, you don't need to spring for that. You don't need terrain management. You don't need all that traction control. The only thing you need is the rear locker. So I've gotten to the point now where like I don't sit there and press the button and go through all the different terrain options when we're on a trail. I put it in 4 high or 4 low, standard driving mode, and the thing goes everywhere I need it to go. The only time I will change it is if we're in the sand, because sand mode increases the revs on the RPM before it shifts. Other than that, man, just a truck with a 4-wheel, a locker and 4 low. That's all you need.
I noticed that like when you first got the truck and you were like, oh, let me put this in like rock mode or whatever. You would have to stop, try to figure it out and then go.
Yeah. And then I found out that, so you put it in that special mode and you do your thing, and then you press the button to take it out of that mode. It would automatically take it out of 4 high and put it back into 2-wheel drive. So then I'd get a little bit further up the trail and be like, why am I not grabbing? Oh, because I'm in 2 high. Like I didn't realize that, like if you're just driving in 2-wheel drive and you press the button to put it in rock mode, it puts it in 4 high or 4 low or whatever. And then when you take it out of that, it takes it off 4 high altogether. So I put it in 4 high when we hit dirt, and I will drop it into 4 low when I need to crawl up something. But that's and I'll hit the locker when I need to. Other than that, the thing goes everywhere I needed to go.
Yeah, so when I hit that, like I said, it was on the backside of that mountain, and again, it was off camber. It looked like a slippery rock, like kind of a smooth, sandy rock climb or whatever. It just seemed kind of tricky, and like you said, I don't need. First of all, I'm by myself with my kids. It's like the last thing I want to do is get stuck and try and tell somebody where I'm at, But I wanted to go. I knew I could make it up this little climb. But at the same time, put the locker on. Just go into 4 low. I'm just going to climb this thing. I don't care. Like, who am I trying to impress or whatever? And then I forgot. I left the locker on all the way back around the backside and I hauled ass. Like, as soon as I got down, paralleled the freeway and then ran back towards the road there. And I was like, oh man, I saw the light, it was still blinking, locker on. So I guess you can run like Jose, you said when we were at the Punch Bowl.
Yeah, I'm like, dude, like, two-wheel drive, locker on.
Yeah, do it. Well, I don't know can I do that? I think you can do that. So
you might the Tacoma would only put the locker on if you were in 4 low. You had to be in 4 low.
Really?
Yes, you could not put the locker on in 4 high or in two-wheel drive.
Two-wheel drive?
You had to be 4 low or it wouldn't engage the locker. That was one of the things like
that sucks.
Yeah, in the truck I can engage the locker in 4 high, no problem.
Yeah.
But yeah, I remember there was on the Tacoma forums there was a way to bypass it. I can't remember, it just wasn't worth it to me. If I was in a situation where I was going to use a locker, I was probably in 4 low already. You know, even with the Ranger, if I look at something and go, all right, I need a locker on this. Well, I'm gonna put it in 4 low. You know, I'm not gonna try to do it in 2-wheel drive or 4 high. I'd rather do it in 4 low. So
yeah, dude, we're not trying to impress anyone here.
No. So all in all, Matt, I mean, like, I mean, I know you're happy.
I can't wait to get the 33s on it. I think that's going to be a pretty big step up as well. You know, getting that extra inch or whatever in height, and then just having that bigger footprint. Because I have my old, so I had 5. I didn't have my 5th or my spare put on for my 31s, my original set of Nexans. So I have that tire next to the other 5, the 33s.
It's a big jump, dude.
Mm-hmm. It is a big jump, not just in the height, but the footprint, like the width.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm a little concerned about the clearance. You know, when I'm turning,
we're gonna have to do some trimming. I think on the front, at the corner, the bumper where the bumper wraps around. We're probably gonna have to trim back that panel.
Yeah, I got my dad's got a righteous set of tools. That's a quote. What movie, Jose?
Is that Fast Times?
Yes,
it is.
It is Fast Times.
So, and he does. He actually does, but he's not a TV repairman.
Yeah.
My dad's a TV repairman. He's got a righteous set of tools.
They have a total Camaro.
He's going to shit. He's going to kill me. Which is he going to kill you or he's going to shit? He's going to shit, then he's going to kill me.
It's so funny. But yeah, so yeah, well, I'm fine with like trimming that stuff away. Maybe eventually getting like a pre-runs type bumper or something in the future, but yeah, I'm sure we'll probably have to do some trimmage. But that would be the next big step is,
and that's your, so the wheels. So we talked about this last week a little bit. The wheels, because of the spacers and the adapters, you're going to have to run. The wheels that we had to give back to Icon this weekend, and he's going to get you a set this week. He said so. You're a week away or so, right?
Yeah. He offered. You know what? Jeremy's been super cool. Just Icon. Everybody.
Everybody at Icon's awesome.
Well, yeah, like. Sincerely, like when we went for the parts for the shock, the little spacers or whatever, and I think it was Adrian came out, and he was like, hey man, let me know if anything, I tuned him to be pretty stiff because I know you're gonna ride it pretty hard, and I'm like, dude, and he said, I'm your guy, give me a call, if you have any problems. It's like weird to me, like thank you. I don't know what did I do to deserve like having this attention, but it's great. And so again, Jeremy, I was coming home on Friday night, texting him, hey, do you want me to? We're going to be at the Mountain Hatch event tomorrow. I'll just bring the rims down there. And he said, dude, I'll bring. I don't have the satin black in the rebounds. I'll bring. Do you like the titanium or the different finishes? And I was like, you know what? I don't know. How long are we looking about, as far as getting the satin black? I just want the satin blacks. Oh, probably a week, no more than 2 weeks. Oh, dude, no, that's fine. I'll wait. I'm not in a super rush. So I think he came back the next day and he said, yeah, I got him locked in for like the middle of this week. So maybe, Wednesday or Thursday.
Okay, cool. Yeah,
but yeah, that's going to be the next thing. I think that's going to looking at the truck. You could see the front end lifted is pretty noticeable.
I will tell you.
But
So just today, Matt and I had to connect earlier, and we got to an intersection to get at the same time coming from opposite directions, and I didn't know it was him originally, and I looked at him like, oh man, check that Frontier's. Oh, that's just like. But I mean, my initial reaction to the front end of that Frontier with the Nexons on it was like, man, that looks good. You know what I mean? You put another inch of or 2 inches of tire height and an inch of width on that thing. It's gonna look mean. It's gonna look really really nice.
Yep.
And going back to what you were saying about the suspension, so let's kind of pull it all together for the Frontier. We have talked about many times about the Frontier being bang for buck, about what a great truck that is. We've personally see it be bulletproof by the way Matt drives it on the trails that we've gone on. I know from riding in it, it's comfortable, it's capable, it's an awesome rig. And then now you throw in the Icon suspension on there. And in my opinion, that puts that truck. The only thing limiting the Frontier was and is still aftermarket support. You get to a point.
It's there, but it's very limited.
That's what I'm saying. If you look at all the vehicles on the market, the 1-year-old Ford Ranger had more aftermarket support than the 15-year-old Frontier, right? And that's just the way the market was. If I really think, and we've talked about this multiple times, if aftermarket manufacturers, suspension, wheels, tires, bumpers, sliders, whatever, start putting more effort into the Frontier, we would see a crap ton of those trucks on the trail, because they are bang for buck, the best truck you can buy right now. They will keep up with anything on the trail in stock form, and then you add the performance suspension and performance parts to them. Man, that's going to be, that thing's bulletproof. I mean, we need to start doing like Nissan Frontier commercials for used Frontiers. And just be like, do you want a wheel for 20 grand and blow everybody away that spent 30 grand on their truck? Here's how you do it. You know what I mean? Like,
so I'm gonna draw a comparison, and you're gonna love it, because I'm gonna gloss on about a Ford. But my buddy Mike Bobbitt, he had I think it's like a 2003 Ford Ranger. Did they make them then? It was the previous gen. It was like I forget what edition it was, but I believe it had a locker. Four-wheel drive.
It was still the FX4. They had the FX4 trim package has been a thing for forever. So it was probably 0304 Ranger FX4 model.
And I'll tell you, I think he was more brutal. Actually, I know he was brutal with that truck. And we'd go, when we were camping and going dirt bikes, he would drag, like when we go on fire run, for firewood, he'd drag trees back and just drive the shit out of that. And pull trucks out of sand. He's really, he knows how to drive a 4-wheel drive. I've seen it, the things I've seen him do in that truck, where literally at the end of a weekend, you're like, I can't believe you did those. Like, you just brutalized that thing, and it just kept going. I get that same feeling with my truck at this point right now. Like, I feel like I can. It really does feel bulletproof. The only thing that's keeping it, as long as I don't do anything stupid, like driving it off a cliff or off of a road, carrying too much speed around something and then rolling it or whatever. I feel that truck is really solid, and that was another concern I had. Going into this weekend, and it doesn't seem to have any problems, is the upper control arms that I bought. I remember when we were putting them on, Cody, because the ball joint, it kind of had a slide, it was adjustable, and it didn't seem like it should be. What's going to prevent that ball joint from sliding in that slot? Just the pressure of two bolts or whatever. I drove it really hard this week, and I drove it really hard yesterday, and my alignment, my alignment's fine. I didn't notice any difference. So that makes me feel good too. You know, that was on Nissan Nation's recommendation.
Yeah.
You know, that I picked up those arms.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, because it's like a direct like replica of the
Mevo Tech. Yeah, PRG.
Or the PRG ones. And
Yeah.
it's like you can't even tell a difference. The only difference is that you save hundreds of dollars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, look, man, I'm stoked that we got the kit installed, and I know you had a little bit of a run this weekend, but I'm looking forward to the next good long trip to where we can really spend some time, you know, watching it articulate up and down some hills and you know, see how it does once we get the 33s on there and all that.
Yep. No, it's going to be. It is. It's like we were talking about it before, like how excited. Yeah, I'm super excited, and now to see that my truck is more capable. That's like a whole nother level of excitement. You know, it's still my truck, but it's better, and I get to kind of learn its new footprint. Like, I can drive my truck, but better. You know?
And you know what? I bet you'd be able to go even faster if you vacuumed out the inside once in a while. The 15 pounds.
You know, I don't want to test that theory. I'm kind of the opposite. Like maybe that's what's holding it all together.
I think there's still Mojave dirt. There's still Mojave. There's Akatia Wells dirt in that truck still.
Yes,
from January.
Yes, there's still some of that mud underneath. That was at my dad's shop. Some of that.
Oh my God, you guys! So I did the video. I did the video when I was doing the install on the sliders the other day, and I crawl into there, do the work, and the whole underside of my truck is full of mud, and I'm like, damn it! So there was a part of the video.
Yeah, dude.
There's a part of the video where like I was showing. Because on the FX4 there's a skid plate that needs to be trimmed just a little bit, and they're going to change that on future versions. The version that they used to model the sliders didn't have the FX4 trim on it, so they're just going to adjust one of the bolts. Bounce. So on mine, I had to trim just a small piece off a tab. So I taken it out and I was filming it as I was cutting it, and I was showing the thing to the camera, and I'm like, oh wait, I don't want to show that side, so Matt and Jose don't see how dirty it is. But when I go clean my truck after runs and stuff, I'll get down there and like I'll shoot up with the wand on the car wash thing. Clearly, I got to get up there more because it still had that clayish mud from that puddle in Big Bear that Joe K got all messed up in. It's still that same reddish clay mud.
You're not going to get that off.
It's permanent. It's permanent under there now.
You got to take my power washer over to my dad's shop and put the truck on the lift.
Yeah, exactly.
And blow it out from below.
No.
You gotta blow out that undercarriage, bro.
Yeah, no.
Get in there. You gotta get knuckle deep into that undercarriage. Put the high pressure nozzle on.
After the January Akatia Wells run, we've talked about this. I took the Tacoma over to the Dirt Stripper in Norco. Shout out to the Dirt Stripper. It's a do-it-yourself car wash, and they have like a heated like undercarriage cleaning area for the big rigs and stuff. So I did that, and
that's for comfort.
Yes, and then I got home and I put on full rain gear.
So it's not so jarring.
Yeah, it's like, shocking when it's that cold. But I got the truck home. I put on full rain gear and like a face shield and crawled under the Tacoma to clean the rest of it out. That's how bad it was. I think I need to do the same with the Ranger. It's pretty bad.
All right.
Well,
yeah, but the way you talk about your truck now, Matt, it just seems like confidence is there now.
There was never any lack of confidence.
No, but it's just, like now it's just like you're not holding back anymore.
Oh,
that's not good for anybody.
Well, look, it's not like I can do 70 over 2 foot whoops or anything like that, But
no, I know. But being realistic, I mean, look, I know we run Icon here, but I mean, it just goes to show that I know there's a lot of like budget lifts and stuff that people can get for their vehicles, but in my opinion, I think a suspension is like it's one of the key things you need for off road. And if you can just hold off and just save until you can get a good quality one, no matter what the brand is.
But how would you know that you could? And again, it's because of that event that we went to that I realized, oh my God, you can drive like a madman. You could really get aggressive.
Yeah,
and improve the performance of your truck or rig or whatever.
If I can expand on what Jose's saying, I 100% agree. I've upgraded suspension on 15 different vehicles, and I would say 95% of those, 98% of those was, I can afford this. Like, not because it was the best system, but it's what I could afford, right? And when I did the Tacoma, I felt like I had done my research and I spent the money equivalent to some of the other suspension options out there that I felt like I was getting a good quality product, and I was never, ever, ever happy with that suspension system. You guys both rode in the truck. You know what I'm talking about. I think it goes beyond saving up for the money. It's doing the research. Research, calling the company up and saying, hey, I'm thinking about buying your kit. What can you tell me about it? It's going on the forums and seeing what other people are saying, to some extent, because people are people. It's finding someone that you know and trust that has that kit or has experienced multiple kits and saying, hey, what do you think? Because you're right, Jose, of all of the upgrades to your truck, bumpers, racks, lights, whatever, none of them will have the same amount of impact as tires and suspension, because that's where all of your power is to the ground. That's what off-roading is. The rest of the stuff, that's cool to have. Perfect example.
Rock light?
Yes, rock lights. I sent you guys. I sent you guys
rock lights.
I sent you guys a picture earlier of rock lights on a Frontier. So this is not long after I had my Tacoma. Joe P and I went to a meetup at the Hat. And it was, I forget which group it was. It was one of the local Tacoma groups. And
pastrami.
Yes, the Hat has
cheese fries.
Yeah, the Hat has good food. So we get there, and you're walking around talking to people about their rig, and this guy, he's looking at my truck, and we're talking about it, and I'm like, what are you driving? And he goes over to show me his truck, and it was a extra cab Tacoma. Mm-hmm. And he's going on and on about the lights and the method wheels and these BFGs and all this stuff. And he's like, yeah. I'm like, well, where have you taken it wheeling? He's like, I really don't take it wheeling. I couldn't afford the 4-wheel drive. And I was all, wait a minute. You bought a 2-wheel drive with lockers and then spent $500 a piece on method wheels and how much on BFG tires. And you're all excited about this off-roading thing, but you're telling me you can't go anywhere because you don't have 4-wheel drive. Like, that's the logic there. Like, don't spend the money on the bling. Spend the money on 4-wheel drive and suspension and tires, so you have the capability. All the other stuff will come down the road. Like, you know what I mean? That's my soapbox is focus on where you're going to get your performance. They say the saying is lockers before lights, but even I would say suspension and tires are the two biggest things you can do to your truck to upgrade it. And then all of the other things down the road are just nice to have. Put them on your Christmas list. Hopefully you've been a good boy this year or a good girl and someone will buy it for you. Spend your money on what matters.
But just to elaborate a little bit more, it's like, you don't need a suspension right away like that guy, did.
No.
You need a wheel. You need to do what Matt did is like really get to know your truck stock and then, see where it needs improvement or
take it to the movies a few times. Find out what kind of, how much popcorn it likes to eat.
Yeah. What kind of popcorn?
What kind of movies are you into? Go out to dinner with it. Never mind. I started getting weird. But yeah, I think definitely, as far as my 4-wheeling experience, I think I did it I don't want to say the right way, but when you learn on a basic truck and you can learn your limits on a stock vehicle, now I get to kind of step my game up. I think my 4-wheeling skills have improved, and now so is my vehicle. So
yeah, and that's where the confidence comes in. Is you're going to look at a hill climb and go, I've made that in my truck stock with some good tires on it. Now that I have bigger tires, suspension, and all the stuff dialed in, I'm 100% confident I'm going to get there. So I go back to there's been a couple times where when I was in the Tacoma, Akatia Wells, when there was that really big hill climb that got kind of rocky towards the top and no one was really sure where it was. And I was like, I'll go check it out and see what it is. I did that with confidence because I knew what my truck was capable of, right? Matt's now hit that point where he knows what his truck is capable of.
And then some.
Yeah, because he's done it in stock form, and now he's got that much more performance. Okay, well, it is, so this is Monday, July 29th,
June
29th. The episode will come out on Thursday, July 2nd. July 2nd, okay. And that's the 4th of July weekend. We talked a little bit at one point. We talked about maybe having a planned run on 4th of July, but right now that's probably not going to happen. I think most of us have Friday off. Yes, I have Friday off for sure. Friday the 3rd, and Tammy and I have plans on Saturday the 4th, and then we'll see what happens from there. I mean, best case scenario, maybe a day run one day over the weekend, but right now, it's looking like just a mellow family weekend for me. What about you guys?
Sitting in my pool drinking beer. I'll tell you that.
Yes.
Jose, you coming over?
Yeah, he's sitting in your pool drinking beer.
I got a lot of Coors Light.
I don't know if those will fit in my cooler or my refrigerator.
Don't worry, I got a cooler.
Yeah, he can bring one with him.
Oh, okay. Okay. Make sure to take it with you when you're done.
Yeah, no otherwise he'll steal it. Call it his own.
No, I'm okay with coolers that just have Diet Dew in them. I'll take those. But if they if they've held Coors Lights, then it's worthless.
Lame. So, all right, guys. Well, next week we should be back in studio, and we are going to have more conversations about the White Knuckle install on the Ranger. I'm working on scheduling some time with John, the owner of White Knuckle, to get him on the show to talk about it. He can give us some more insight on the way those things are built, and we can talk in a little bit more detail on the install. And I don't know. Like I said, I don't know that there's going to be any exciting wheeling this weekend over the 4th of July holiday. Please, everybody, be safe. Have a good holiday and enjoy it. Celebrate it. Independence Day is a big deal, and hopefully everybody has time to go do something for 3 days.
It is in Fontana. It's like,
dude, don't even get me started.
It's like a war zone.
Don't even get, dude. For weeks, they've been going after my house every single night. Like my dog, now when the sun goes down, my dog goes to hide. Doesn't even wait. He knows it's coming. Like it's just ridiculous.
No, it's been bad for like 2 months.
Yeah.
Every night. Actually, I'm surprised. I haven't heard it yet.
Around here, it's usually after 9. They wait till after 9. The other night, I was in bed and I got woken up at 11:15 because some yahoo was letting off fireworks in my neighborhood.
Yeah, Duty Driven said, "Don't blow off your fingers." All I ever use, or Tim said, "Don't blow off your wiener." All I ever use, I just go and buy the Safe and Sane stuff.
No,
I think there's so many. It's like a fireworks show. It's like the crescendo at a Dodger game on 4th of July. That's what for about 45 minutes all around me in Fontana. That's what it's like.
No, remember the first Desert Storm? Those videos that were coming out where it's like all green and stuff. That's what Fontana looks like every night.
And Duty Driven. I think my brother's blown off both. For sure, he's blown off a finger. Oh, matter of fact, he blew off a finger and then chopped off a finger. I don't know if those are the same hand or not. But he, yes. Don't blow off any appendages, and be safe and celebrate with your families and enjoy the weekend. And we'll catch up with you guys next Monday on the live feed, and then next Thursday when the episode comes out, and we've got some more interviews. Like we said, we had an interview scheduled tonight that had to get rescheduled last minute. No worries, we'll get them back on the show. And we've got a couple other coming up that I'm excited about. So we're working on scheduling some more interviews and getting some more topics, and then go from there. So thanks everybody for joining us on the live feed tonight. We appreciate it, and we will talk to you guys
do
soon.
us a favor, hit that like button, please. It really helps us out.
Yep, like, subscribe on the YouTube's reviews. We didn't get any reviews. I did get
we haven't gotten any reviews in a while.
I got 2 voicemails, and both of them were robocalls speaking in a foreign language that I could not understand. So,
dude, you heard about that? It's a conspiracy about that.
No, I don't know what the conspiracy is.
We'll have to tune in next week.
Next week, we'll talk about it. All right, conspiracy theories next week. Talk to you guys later.
Later.
All right, Casey, you sure you only blew off your thumb? You blew off your thumb and chopped off a pinky. Were those in the same hand?
Wouldn't that be great if it was Tim in like a robotic voice? Just, like just oh man, that would be awesome. Tim, do it. Can you call the line and just talk like a robot and just screw with Cody? That would be the best. Please.
No, we don't need to do that.
Oh man, robocalls.
Yeah, they're super like an Asian language. I have no idea. And like to get 1 is weird. To get 2 is weirder.
I get them all the time, dude. It's weird.
I'll take them. I'll give you my personal number. You can leave those robocalls.
Mud Raider. You can I think on like Spotify, Google Podcasts, a bunch of those other podcast feeds. There's places where you can do reviews. I do the same thing. I don't use iTunes, so I'm good with that. Tim Kilmer, I have the best bit in mind for a voicemail, but I can't do it without laughing.
Just give us the premise of the bit.
Just practice.
Yeah.
You can clip it together. Put it in a clip. So, okay. Well, cool. Thanks for hanging out with us tonight, guys. Appreciate it. As always, it's fun to have you guys participate. And, I was thinking we did that right when COVID started. We did that thing where we had a bunch of listeners log in, kind of a campfire talk. We need to do another one of those soon. We need to get a bunch of these guys that are on the live feed to join the Google Hangout. So we'll try to set that up and let you guys know for when that's going to happen. All right, cool, guys. We're going to end the live feed and do our last bit of intro stuff, and then we'll catch up with you guys later.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks.
I'm Presley, and thank you for listening. Thank you to Max and Taye. Thank you to Icon. If you want to be on the show, call 951-394-DIRT. Thank you to Ryan Torino with all of the music.